Hey guys, I'm going to do something a little different tonight. I'm primarily talking about Treestand, but I'll start out by a short review of this brew. This is called Double Bastard. Excuse my pardon the French. It is brewed by the Stone Brewing Company. I just picked up a growler of it down at the co-op. This is a American Strong Ale. It's 10.5% alcohol by volume. And it's got quite a bit of flavor. I would say it's fairly bitter, which I like. It almost has a smoky, maybe a hint of chocolate. I just ate a truffle, one of those little chocolate balls. So maybe that's why I'm smelling the chocolate. It's finishes well. And I have to say I like it. It's brewed by the Stone Brewing Company. It's called Double Bastard. It's 10.5%. I don't know much about it. It's the first time I've ever tried it. It's fairly dark brown and full-bodied, good tasting beer. Anyways, that's not why I'm here tonight. I want to talk about my tree stand and do a little review on it. Basically, the way we hunt, or the way I hunt here in Vermont, is different than what a lot of you guys do. First of all, we're not allowed to bait deer, period. I mean, if you get caught baiting deer, you're going to lose your license for at least a year, I would guess, maybe 3 years, and you know, you have to pay a fine. It's just not allowed. And I have no problem with that, because the way I like to hunt is basically to go in and scout and learn what the deer are doing, and that's the challenge of it all to me. I mean, I know some of you will probably piss you off by saying this, but what's the challenge in dumping a pile of corn and putting up a stand or a blind and sitting over it and habituating the deer to come in to feed and then killing one? I mean, I suppose in some of the states where your deer populations are really high, they allow it because they need to thin the herd. But in my opinion, that's just, it's not fair chase. I'm sorry. I know I pissed a lot of people off, but that's from my standpoint. And maybe if I was on the other side, I would feel differently. But as far as I'm concerned, we can't do it, and I'm glad. So anyways, basically, the way I hunt is I bring my game to the deer. I mean, you're not going to bring the deer to you. I don't believe in scents. I mean, I don't think they work using attractants. I don't like to use any type of scent. I like to go as scent free as I can and get in there with minimal impact on the area, and that entails using a tree stand that you're able to put up in a relatively short amount of time without making a bunch of noise. And in years past, I'd always bought cheap tree stands, the Comfort Zone, I'm sure you've all heard of that, and other various brands that you can buy, the bottom price range that you can get at Walmart or Dick's. They're made of steel. They're mostly not welded. They're mostly, bolted together. And I actually had bought one of those last year, and I used it. I actually shot a deer out of it, in October, the doe I got. But that stand was loud. I mean, if I moved back and forth, it would make creaking sounds, and it was uncomfortable. Well, last year I bought a Lone Wolf HangOn stand. I believe it's the Alpha 2 Assault. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I'm thinking it is, but I'll show it to you in a second. Let me set this beer down. So basically, this is the stand. I bought it last year. I know that they have made some changes, but it's still basically the same. It's one solid piece of cast aluminum. There's nothing that's welded. The platform is just one solid piece, and I hadn't tried this until this year, obviously, but I'm now, after 1 year, I'm pretty happy with it. My opinion, after using this, for one, it's silent. I mean, it doesn't make any sound at all. It locks into the tree, rock solid. It doesn't move. The seat, I was sitting there last weekend and I thought, oh, I wish this seat was up a little bit. And I'd never really looked at it much, so I looked at it, and there's a screw right here, and you just finger tighten it, and this, you know, goes right there, and you can adjust the seat, you know, all the way up to like this, down, you know. Right now, that's how I have it. I mean, just a little feature like that's well designed. Also, there's 4 settings here where you can adjust this based on your tree, your platform. You know, if it's angled too much, you can bring it down, or vice versa. This is super light, and I think it weighs 14 pounds. And when it's on your back, you know, it packs really narrow, and it feels like you have really nothing on there. The other great feature is the way it attaches to the tree. So the way that this stand attaches, it's called the Easy Hang system. I'll get up here close so you can see. Basically, it's a strap with this hook. You bring this around the tree. You just hook this other loop on the other side of this hook. Okay? And then you just cinch it up. Actually, I got the wrong one on there. I'm sorry. It's this one. This goes on there. Okay. And I've hung other stands, and you sit there. You know the kind I'm talking about, where you have to hold the stand with one hand, and you got to wrap the strap around, and then you got to pull it, and you're using your teeth, and it's borderline impossible, especially for a guy my size. I mean, this is so simple. Literally, wrap this around, put this like this, and with one hand you can just pull this and cinch it up. Once you have that cinched up, that will be on the tree like that. I'll just show you. So you have that on the tree. Then you just pull up the stand. I usually, when I'm climbing, I have my rope attached to the stand, and I tie it around my waist, so that when I get the sticks all the way to the top, and then I put this up, I pull the stand up, just pull it up, and hang it. Right like that. And that's all you do. It's just like that, and you're on. And there's one more strap that goes down here, but I mean, you got it hung. Once you get it hung, everything else is easy. Bring it up like that, put the strap around, cinch it up, and that's it. I mean, I take a ratchet strap with me a little extra. I don't know that it's necessary. It isn't, but I do it. It just makes me feel better. You know, after I hung it with the two, you know, straps that come with it, I take a ratchet strap just around the middle and crank it up, and it just gives me a little extra peace of mind. So that's basically it. I can't really think of anything negative to say about this. I mean, the size is fine. The seat is comfortable. I mean, I sit all day in it. Have no problem at all. It's bigger than some of the cheaper stands. I mean, this pad is nice and comfortable, but it's just quiet. There's no, I mean, it doesn't squeak. It's just everything that you want in a stand you have right here. And the biggest benefit for me is the mobility. I mean, I moved my stand 3 times this year in the last 5 days, and that's important. I mean, for the way I hunt, like I said, I mean, we're not hunting over bait. And you know, if you've got your, in the past, I'd be up in my stand and I'd see deer out of range, out of bow range, and I wouldn't do anything about it. I mean, I would just sit there day after day because it was such a chore to move. I mean, hanging a stand was something that I would do a month before the season on a weekend day, and it was a 2-hour adventure. But now with this system that I have, you know, I'm sitting there and one day or 2 days in a row I see deer just out of range. It's nothing for me to climb down at 10 o'clock, bring my stand down and go move and hang it. And I can hang this by myself in about 15 minutes. I mean, I haven't timed it, but that's roughly what it would take me. And not rushing, you know, I could probably do it faster. And, you know, a thinner guy could probably do it a lot faster, but I go kind of slow. I'm not real keen on climbing a tree rapidly. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm super impressed. I mean, I've used a lot of other cheap stands, and these certainly aren't cheap. I mean, you pay for what you get. But this is a stand that I plan on having for a long time, and I'm not going to have to replace it. And in the past, I would buy a cheap $80 stand, and it was like a throwaway thing. I mean, use it for one season, and, you know, someone steals it, no big deal. This one, I'll tell you what, I lock this because I don't want it to get stolen. I mean, it's valuable to me. And over the off season, the one other thing I want to get is the Lone Wolf sit and climb, because I'd like to be able to take my stand out at night in some spots I hunt. I don't want to leave it there. So I'm gonna get one of those, and I think with the sit and climb and this Alpha HangOn, with just 2 stands, that's all I need. I'm gonna have all the mobility that I'll ever want, and comfort too. So that's my take on the Lone Wolf. I can't say enough good about that company. It just seems like they put a lot of thought into designing their products, and it just feels like if I was going to design a tree stand the way I wanted it, this is what I would end up with. They do offer some accessories. There's one thing I might get in the off season is foot pegs or foot rest, and they're just simple foot rests that are attached to the already pre-drilled holes in the frame of it, and you know, that'll add a little more comfort. They're not necessary, but I think it'll be a nice added little touch. So that's it. I mean, I'm going to review a few other products here, and not everything I'm going to say about everything I review is going to be positive, but the only thing I could say negative right now is I'm trying to figure out a way to pack this, and also I usually carry a heavy backpack, especially when it's cold weather. I mean, I don't like to wear all my clothes in because I end up sweating. So I dress light, but I have a big backpack. I have my camera arm, which I'll review in another video. So I have a full pack, internal frame pack, and I need to really do some testing to figure out the best way to carry all that stuff and this. I mean, the times I moved my stand, I was already in the woods. I just went over. I wasn't moving a long ways, so I went over, I moved it, hung it, went back and got my backpack. So that is one thing that I'm trying to determine how I'm gonna deal with that. But I don't know if that's a negative or not. I think you'd probably run into that with just about any tree stand on your back. So that's it. That's my review of the Lone Wolf Alpha Assault HangOn stand. And let me know what you think. If you guys have used these stands, let me know how you feel about them. If you haven't used one of these, I highly recommend that you get one. Save your money, buy it. It's an investment. It'll last you a long time, and you'll be glad you did.